Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I am Scooter Van Gogh, and welcome back to On Defense. Like I said, I'm Scooter Van Gogh, and I am here with my co-host from Kansas, Roman Rubio.
Scooter, we got a banger for them today, baby. We're going to be recapping the NBA playoffs, the conference semis wrap-up. We're going to be looking forward to the conference finals, those matchups and what to look forward to, who's going to be going to the NBA finals. We're going to be talking about that 25 and under list for the NBA that came out a couple days ago. We're going to be talking about the chain gang and umpires, whether or not that stuff should be officiated or controlled by the AI. And then to wrap it up, we'll do, as always, moving forward, Scooter's locks of the week for his parlays. His locks.
The locks. Yeah, so let's hop into it. Like you said, first off, we're going to start off with some of the results from the semis, the semis in the NBA playoffs. It turns out, Roman, I was more right than what we thought. It seems I had a little bit of a glass ball. We had to take a little bit of a detour to get there. But the Minnesota Timberwolves top the defending champion Denver Nuggets in Denver. Is Anthony Edwards the best player on the planet?
Stop it.
He was in a movie that they made him seem real cool. So is he Michael? He was in a movie, a basketball movie, and now he's killing it through the playoffs. Is he Michael Jordan?
Is he Michael Jordan? Next up on.
He looks like it. He sure looks like it.
That was a great series. I mean, great Game 7. I think what that series really inevitably came down to is, in general, the Timberwolves as a whole showed up. Role players really played great. Naz Reid was insane down the stretch at the end of that game. And Jokic and Jamal Murray balled out, but everybody else kind of left them high and dry. Like, they both dropped 30-plus points. Nobody else scored in double figures for them. I mean, that's what it came down to. That the role players for Minnesota really stepped up. Anthony Edwards, even though he shot a lot of shots, he had a lot of assists, he got rebounds, he played great defense. Like, he didn't let the moment get too big for him, and he didn't try to take over when he didn't have to.
But the thing is because I remember just looking at stat sheet while watching it, and a lot of Ant's numbers came towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter, which, I mean, you want to see from your young superstar. Sure. I mean, you can miss all the shots that you want, but if you're hitting them in the fourth quarter, everybody's going to forget what you were doing beforehand. So, I mean, it was super exciting to see that. I want to shout out my boy, Rudy Gobert. It took him 5 games of being a dad to finally do it.
That fadeaway, man.
But that fadeaway, dude, I was like, at that point, I forget, I wasn't looking directly at the game, and I remember seeing that shot go in, and I was like, oh wow, Cat shot a really nice fadeaway mid-range shot. And then, then I looked the replay, and I was like, damn, that was Rudy Gobert. Yeah. And I know it was a throw-up prayer, but it looked nice. It was.
I saw people comparing it to the MJ shot against the Cavs, that fader to the side. It was beautiful. It's really funny.
But and those are the type of plays that sometimes it takes to win a championship. Yeah. Sometimes luck is the changer, And I mean, we'll talk about this later, but I think there was some luck last night. By the way, this is Wednesday, March 22nd. So just to be clear, we don't know any of the outcomes of the games tonight, but last night was the first game between the Pacers and the Celtics. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it was such a great series. A lot of ups and downs. Mm-hmm. Young team comes out. The experienced team starts showing everybody why they're the champions, and it's over now that you let them get rolling. And then, like I said, I feel like that spark that they were playing with the first 2 games of the series, came back. And Anthony Edwards is walking around, and I mean, he never stopped talking, but you know what I'm saying? He just had that aura about him, and all of his boys behind him were backing it up, man. Yeah. And wow, like I said, it was just something that I really thought that that Denver was going to do their thing and move on, but it's exciting. It's an exciting time.
It is.
Once again, we'll have a new champion.
Yeah.
Past 6 years, we've had a new champion each year, and I mean, that's always fun. I always like it when you never know who's going to get it.
I think the beautiful thing about these playoffs in general, at least now where we're at the Final Four, we have Jason Tatum 26, Tyrese Halliburton 24, Anthony Edwards 22, and Luka Doncic 25. One of those 4 is going to be the best player on a championship winning team. That's awesome. 26 and under, Final Four, best players on their team. That's That's just awesome basketball. Like, the new age is coming, and, I mean, you're a little older than I am. I've never seen, like, this kind of transition, really.
The changing of the guard.
Yeah, like, changing of the league in general. Like, LeBron's not there, KD's not there, Steph, and then I think we're now seeing, like, this league just take it to another level. The last 6 years, like you said, no one's gone back to the finals even. Like, it's hard. Like, LeBron made it seem easy. Steph and the Warriors, they made it seem easy. Kobe, MJ, I mean, it's not easy to do that, and especially in the stacked league we got right now, it's going to be really hard. You got to keep that core together. But, like, outlook on the Nuggets, like, after they are eliminated, I mean, you've got Jokic. I mean, you don't got much to worry about. You're hopefully only going to get to at least this point and hopefully further. Like, they have him and Jamal Murray. I mean, Jamal Murray played amazing.
And I feel like with them, they have a Dirk situation where they have a player who really, really, really likes the city that he wound up in when he came to America, and he wants to win. Like, even though he's already brought a championship much sooner than what Dirk did, it seems like he wants to stay there, kind of like Giannis, kind of like which. Let me tell you, I love, dude. Like, I'm a small town franchise guy, so I always love it when I see these players that stick with these teams because it makes me believe that one day maybe Brandon Miller will become that guy and he'll want to stick with us and want to stay there and actually build something with us.
Hard to hate those guys. Hard to hate the guys that stick with, because that's how it used to be. I mean, you didn't see stars leave often. You saw them leave when they were 35, 36 at the tail end of their career when they ain't got much left to give. But it's nice to see.
No, and it makes me excited for the league because, like, the reason why, and I'm not trying to be like this NBA is better than a few years ago when Steph was going back to the finals all the time, stuff like that. But this, like, if they'll all stay off the same team, then we're going to get this super competitive, fun basketball to watch all the time. And not saying that the Warriors weren't fun to watch, because they were. They were great. But, great to watch. You know what I'm saying? But that was also the only thing that was going to stop LeBron in his prime.
True.
So that's what they had to build. And hopefully, like, these new players are going to maybe be a little bit more hard-headed and want to do it on their own.
Yeah.
I mean, but think about that, though. So just off the top of the head, who do you see out of these young guys being the first one to decide that they can't do it in the city that they're in and leave? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a good one.
Because eventually I think somebody's going to leave.
Like, out of these four?
Or just in general. I mean, you could choose these four. But, like, I think out of these four, I mean, you have Jason, who he's locked and loaded in Boston, and they're probably going to do whatever they can to keep him. You have, like I said, Anthony Edwards, who seems like he's down for Minnesota. And, like, Luka might be the one that I think might. And then you have Tyrese, who I think since they went and got him from the Kings and have shown him so much love since he's gotten there, it would be hard for him to leave. But, I mean, not saying that Luka doesn't like Dallas, because I don't know Luka. But I just, like, if Kyrie didn't show up, and if Kyrie leaves, like Kyrie likes to do, how long does Luka stay around? And how long does it take him to go want to join maybe Jokic in Denver, which everybody's talked about? Like, how long until that friendship mentality comes in together, kind of like the big three with the Heat? What was it, the Banana Boat?
The Banana Boat,
the Banana Boat boys.
I think, I really think at least the Luka situation really comes down to how long does Kyrie stay, how long does Kyrie produce as, like, the two-man. If Kyrie leaves, or he doesn't start producing as the two-man, who do they get to replace him? Because if they can't get somebody to replace him or to help him out, to put him to where he's still competing like he is right now, then that's when we could easily see. I think definitely they're the question mark, because you look at Ant and Cat. Ant and Cat stay, young duo. Like, they're hopefully only going to get better. Celtics, Jaylen Brown's locked down for 5 years. Jason Tatum probably going to get a Supermax after this year for 5 years. Hopefully they don't split up, at least me personally. The Pacers, I mean, yeah, like you said, Tyrese seems like he's such a loyal guy, and what's happened with the Pacers and where they've gotten to now, I mean, it's hard to see them leave. They got Pascal, they got Miles Turner, who's still pretty young. He's only like 28, 29, I think. But yeah, they got a nice young squad. I mean, I would definitely say Luka is definitely the biggest question mark, at least out of these four, off the top of my head, to possibly go to greener pastures if stuff doesn't work out with Kyrie and them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree too. Like, I mean, that all sounds like how it probably would go down. Like, the only thing I could see is if for some reason if something happens with the Pacers and they have to go into like a rebuild of some sort, I feel like out of all the franchises, they would be the first ones that would have to kind of reset because after Tyrese, like, well, I mean, I guess Dallas is kind of the same way too, but like, there's not a lot, you know. I mean, Miles Turner's playing lights out right now, but like, how many times have we seen that the Pacers are shopping Miles Turner? You know, like
not since he finally signed that contract that everyone's been anticipating, or a trade, and then he signs a contract with the new team. I mean, I think it really depends on. I don't know what Pascal's contract situation is. I think he's for at least a couple years. But
I think he got locked in. I think so.
Yeah, I think he's got at least a couple years. But they are also like making big money, and they have a lot of young guys. And if the young guys step up, like Benedict Mathurin, he's been injured, but like Aaron Nesmith, I mean, he's been playing insane, so he may be getting a contract. Obi Toppin's played great these playoffs, but also think those people playing great is in credit to the system.
Yeah,
and we can transition from Minnesota, Denver. We can flip over to the Knicks Pacers. How that ended, Game 7. I mean, highest field goal percentage in NBA history in the playoffs.
Yeah,
insane.
I mean, the Pacers were, like I said, shooting lights out. And I don't want to discredit the Pacers, and it sucks to always say this because part of the game is not being hurt, but how well would they have done if they were playing the full New York team is what I've always been wondering.
Yeah,
and it also, and not to say that's like, not to try to say like Jalen Brunson didn't have a hurt hand or anything. It just sucks that he did hurt his hand.
Yeah.
In the important games where we couldn't see that ultimate, like, you know, let's see how crazy Jalen Brunson can go to save the season. But I think the team that would be much more interesting to watch get beaten by the Celtics won because I just don't know how good that Knicks team would be just with Jalen Brunson. Like, you know, like the mistakes that were being made by the Pacers to allow the Knicks to stay in the game were young team mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like they weren't playing as good as they are on offense. They are equally as bad on defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, at times.
Yeah.
There's times that they do play hard, and it's... But I just feel like, you know, maybe, you know, it could have definitely gone a different way if, you know, Julius Randle and OG wasn't hurt half the time. Because he did come back Game 7, didn't he?
Yeah,
OG ended up.
Yes, he did. He went out after I think 5 minutes in the game. Like he tried, he hit like 2 big threes to start off. Like he was playing well, but something happened and he just couldn't go anymore. But I mean, injuries do suck. I mean, a lot of people will say Pacers made it this far. Bucks injuries, Knicks injuries, and now they're here. I hope the Pacers continue this like next year. Because I really think what they have going is something special. And I'm not just saying this because we got the dub last night and I'm feeling all cheery about it. Yeah. Like, I truly think, like, this Pacers team, Rick Carlisle, and, like, this offense that they're running is so, like, unique. Like, they come up the court every single time and they run some type of set offense. Like, they don't just do the ISO ball that the Celtics do a lot or some other teams like Luka. Like, they come in and they run sets and they are very unselfish. Like, 7 guys averaging double figures. You put Benedict Mathurin on there, that's another guy that averages double figures.
I think they did it last night too. I think I remember hearing that they all scored in double figures last night too.
Yeah, I mean they're a great team and they cause constant chaos and rotations for other defenses. Like their offense is so good because they make other teams have to move like with chickens with their heads cut off the whole time. And I think it's just super unique. Like I still think like round 1, like healthy Bucks team, I still think that could easily go 6, maybe 7. Even with like them feeling outmatched because of how good the 2 stars are on the Bucks. But I mean, I really think the Pacers deserve to be here. Like for sure, like they got it done on the road in Game 7 when they lost every other game on the road that whole series. Like it's easy to just fold like on the road. And then what they were able to do, they said this on the broadcast last night, but Game 6 in Indiana, 2 days later, Game 7 in New York. 2 days later, Game 1 in Boston. Like that's a lot of traveling, and they stepped up in all of those games.
They have,
like that's really impressive for me. But
we'll move on from the Knicks game to the Celtics game for the Pacers.
Yeah, I
felt like you really saw, just like I said, the young team mentality, which also, I mean, Rick Carlisle should know better. But when you're up 3 that late in the game, I feel like you got to have somebody on the team that's really good at making free throws. You turn into a free throw off.
Yeah.
And you never let the highest paid player in the league jack one up. Even though Pascal Siakam, because I heard one of the announcers talking about how they were getting it was like an open shot, but I felt like Pascal was right there, like guarding him very well.
It was in his face, but I think he was too worried about fouling because he came up because he was chasing him from behind, so he came up real fast, and then as Jalen was trying to shoot, he went like you see the clip of people are saying his fingers in his butt, but he put his hands behind to make sure there wasn't a foul call. So he was there initially, but when the shot went up, Pascal Siakam's got his hands behind.
We're already seeing the trickle effects from the SGA foul. Look at that. Nobody wants to play 3-ball defense anymore late game because they're afraid of getting SGA'd.
And Rick Carlisle's known for it. He didn't do it in the Knicks series when they had an opportunity like that, and somebody hit a big 3 for the Knicks.
Well, then you got to learn from that, dude.
And
you are a championship coach. You know what I'm saying? Like you know that. Like I said, it was just one of those things where I feel like you probably should have fouled.
He also admitted that he messed up, like that inbounds that Jalen tipped that ended up being the Celtics ball. Rick Carlisle said he should have taken a timeout and advanced the ball, like to the other side. And that's that's outlook, but it happened.
It just seemed like towards the late game, it just seemed like Halliburton just. There were some moments that just seemed like maybe the moment was getting. It could be the fatigue. It could be you know what I'm saying, but just there's multiple times where. It just seemed like he was falling backward. There was that one where he went out of bounds with it and
hit his knee.
Yeah, like somebody barely pressed him a little bit, and he just knocked him off balance enough. And it's just like I said, and it could be fatigue. Like you said, they've been basically busting their ass traveling and balling for the past 6 days. So I mean, it catches up to you. But I feel bad because I feel like if you were going to I don't think they're going to win the series. I think the Celtics are just too good of a team, and. If you were going to win the series...
That's a big one.
You got to steal that. Stealing Game 1 would be awesome because even if you lose Game 2...
That's 1-1.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have 2 more games at home to try to get this thing to 3-1 before you go back to Boston.
And they're great at home.
Yep.
They're really great at home.
It's just a real kick in the balls for just a basketball fan who wants to see that game-winning shot. You know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, we got the game-tying shot.
Yeah, that was electric, yeah.
And then I just feel like... Then they just came out kind of flat in overtime because I think Jason Tatum outscored him, right? Like
he scored 10 points. I don't know exactly how many, but they started off the first 3. Tyrese Halliburton to the step back 3 on like the left wing.
Yeah, I just remember
to start off
seeing a graphic that was like Jason Tatum was outscoring him in overtime at some point. And
I don't know if it ended that way, but it's possible. But I just want to give a little bit of shout outs. I try not to talk too much about my boys. I don't want to be too biased here, but Jaylen Brown this playoff has been magical. I know he's not right now. He's not the highest paid player in the league. He's going to be next year.
Like, he's not? Okay.
No, this year's like his last year. But that man has taken his game to another level. These playoff series, he has been insanely efficient. He has been insane on both ends. And like last night, Jason Tatum had like a terrible 9-minute stretch in the fourth quarter. Final 9 minutes of the game, had no assists, no points. Final 9 minutes. He disappeared and he started going off to the corner and he was trying to let everybody else do it. And Jaylen Brown stepped the fuck up and hit that shot. He was 0 for 3 from 3, and he stepped up and he hit that shot. But then Jason Tatum does what stars do. He did not play well the last 9 minutes, but he was like, okay, I just got a second chance. I'm not going to fuck this up. Mm-hmm. And he goes in the overtime, and he steps up like stars are supposed to do. Stars are supposed to step up.
Yeah, and it helped. It really helps out when you have 2. So like
it does.
If one star's not playing well, you like.
And Drew Holiday played like a star last night too. 28 points, insane on the defense against Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, he played like a star.
I feel like Al Horford was also playing pretty well. I mean,
he was getting targeted a lot.
Yeah, he was, but like just on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, at least. And it was funny because they mentioned that he's 2 years older than, or 3 years, 2 years or 3 years older than Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah,
like which is kind of crazy to think about. Like.
It is.
Which, I'm not trying to hate on him. He's kind of a funny looking guy.
Al Horford?
No.
Joe Mazzulla?
Yeah. Just how intensely he watches the game sometimes when they cut him over to him.
He's so intense.
He kind of reminds me of the Geico caveman. So I don't know. But he just got such small. I don't know. But great coach. Keep going, coach. Yeah. You're doing great. Yeah. You know the X's and O's way more than I do. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, basketball's fun. But let's talk about something a little less fun, and that is rules and officiating and the changing of how certain sports are officiating. So earlier this week, they announced that the NFL will be trying out digital technology to basically do the yard lines now, the first down yards and all
chain
that
gang.
Stuff. Yeah, what the chain gang used to do. They're trying to take our jobs.
They're using our jobs.
They're using AI and they're taking our jobs. And eventually, it's just gonna be a bunch of robots out there throwing a bunch of circuit boards to each other, and no humans are gonna be out there. No one, except for the coach. They will still keep the coach. The coaches will still be
fully guaranteed contracts.
Yeah, fully guaranteed contracts for the coaches. Yeah. Sean Payton, don't worry, you will be there, my man. And he will still pick the shortest robot. but so I mean, it's interesting. You know, something that a lot of people have been wanting. The guarantee to know that it's right. But Roman, what happens if it's not right? What happens if it all just sucks? Then we are locked into humans forever. And then, I mean, I guess that's a win for us. We still get to keep playing football, and we still get to keep tossing the pigskin around. But if it does work, T2 all over again.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing, at least in MLB. You know, people are asking for like the automated like umpire, because each umpire has their own like definition or like look of the strike zone.
Yeah.
And like I know we have a buddy that that watches a lot of baseball, where he talked about like the one of the like most tenured umps in the league, and he is like super bad. And they like had a study out like a year or two ago where he was just wrong like too much for like how much he's like being a part of big games. And it's like, should there be automated strike zones, like robots telling you what a strike and whatnot is and ball is?
I don't know, man. So
I don't know much about baseball, so
no.
Toss floor over
I know. I play a lot of MLB The Show.
Okay, yeah.
And I do a lot of betting on baseball.
So you're an expert.
So I am 100% expert. But
let's hear it.
My thought about it is, one, the cool thing about sports is how you can't predict what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And even though it sucks when a ref calls a play wrong on your side, right? Like when you're affected by a bad play call or a bad call, it sucks on your side. But there is that feeling of when your team just gets helped out by an awful call, and your team wins the game, and who are you thinking? You're thinking the ref. So that's the other thing, is if there's unbiased opinion about a lot of stuff, maybe big teams stop losing that, or start losing a lot more. Teams that maybe have a lot more favor maybe start losing a lot more, which, I mean, that would be interesting. But I personally like the human element of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all the human element. It's all, you know, just chance, I guess, you know, but like, it just makes it, one, more real, and two, it just, knowing that, like, hey, I'm a pitcher and I love to work the bottom left corner, and I know this ump absolutely is awful at this. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you're playing the system. I don't know. Like, it's just one of the things where, like, you can kind of give yourself advantage, which, I mean, nobody wants to admit when people have advantages or whatever, but like, that's part of it. Maybe you're not the fastest pitcher, but man, if you have a breaking ball and it hits the bottom left corner and this ump is awful at telling that, you might get some good calls on your side, and that's part of it too. Yeah. Like,
kind of like NBA foul baiting. Like, it's an IQ, even though it sucks sometimes, it's bad for the game sometimes, but it also is an IQ thing. Like, you being able to bait those fouls to get to the free throw line. Same thing with pitchers, like being able to manipulate that strike zone, how they think that ump's going to call it, and get some stuff maybe go their way that they wouldn't normally have.
Now, of course, the chain gang stuff in the NFL, that's just a little bit more, you know, a little bit more just cut and dry, like where...
Saves time, I think. Yeah, you know, where, like they don't have to bring the chains out, measure it, or like think about a challenge, waste a challenge, that stuff.
They said that the chain gang will still be there.
Yeah.
As a backup? I just don't understand. If we think they're wrong...
How much we paying them?
How long are we paying them to be backups? And to be fair, have you ever been a part of a chain gang?
No.
So
Stop. Stop.
So my junior year of high school, I was playing varsity football. I went to a JV game. My coach was like, "Oh, they need chain gangs. Hudler, go be a chain gang." And I was like, "Okay, coach." And I had no clue what I was doing. And the quarter ended, right? And I was the guy who had like the little puck that they put on there to like mark the marker of like what yard they're on.
Yeah.
And the quarter ended. Nobody explained to me what the hell was going on. And I just popped the puck off and I just like carried it to the other side. And they were like, the refs were so mad because they were like, "What yard was it on?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like, I just picked it up, bro. And they had like, I had delayed the game by like 10 minutes because they had to like convene and figure out where the puck was supposed to go. And then I got delegated to holding the flag.
And this is why I'm pro robot.
Yeah.
Right here.
Well, hopefully they teach guys what to do. I just got thrown over there. I never knew.
But at least your opinion on the robot chain gang, AI chain gang. How do you feel? Pro, against? Want to see how it goes before you make an opinion?
I'm gonna like it when it gets somebody short of the first down and we get the ball back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate it when we're short of the first down and it's like, we're GPS accurate. Here it is. This is where he stopped, and I'm gonna hate that. But it's getting the calls right is good for the game. And it makes it where I guess you don't get death threats to refs.
True.
But what about all the other calls? Like, well, and I guess that's why refs will always have a job because there's no way you could ever go to like a robot based format for that. I don't think.
Yeah, like a ref that's the robot ref that can call pass interference right or wrong.
Yeah,
it's so subjective.
Yeah, exactly. Like
each call is different.
Or would it be just like any kind of contact? Because then because like in the NBA, like any kind of contact's going to be like so. But I don't think we'll ever get to that point.
Yeah, I think chain gang and umps calling strike zones probably the farthest we would get.
Yeah. Well,
I can't imagine.
So if they get robot umps to call the strike zone, do they also just get good cameras to tell if people are out? Like, because they always have those umps out like on the like first base and third, but like they're like out there too. Like, do they like just remove those guys? Do they just get rid of all umps? Then if they get rid of all umps, who are the coaches going to go kick sand at when they're mad? Who are they going to go yell at? That's the other thing. Funny. It's like, do they just go out and yell at the broadcast booth?
You just see him walking up the stands, stomping up there, going to the broadcast
No. But yeah, so, I mean, I'm not going to knock it till we try it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm going to hate it when maybe we could have gotten away with the first down with a human, and now we're short by inches. Like you know what I'm saying? Like literal inches.
Can't wait. Midway through the NBA or NFL season, we'll get a title of our podcast, Scooter Hates the Robots.
Oh,
can't wait for that.
I'm going to hate these goddamn robots.
But we did skip over the ending to the Mavs OKC.
Oh, yeah.
And then also the Western Conference preview of the finals.
Yeah, we'll go back to that. Sorry. But, I was so excited to talk about them goddamn robots, dude. Oh, man. The OKC and Dallas was an interesting one.
It was.
I originally was thinking OKC was going to win it. But I think you said it, or one of our buddies said it, that was just pretty much like the best two play. Like if you have the best two players, it's hard. And I mean, even though SGA probably is one of the best two,
next two are
Kyrie and Luka, and Luka was doing some Luka things. I mean, they also had some people step up. I know PJ Washington
had some insane games.
Has some insane games. He decided he wanted to play basketball. He never did that at Charlotte, but which I mean, that's what playing for a winner does for people, I guess.
Derrick Jones Jr. too. I mean, I'll say it seems like a really common theme, at least this playoffs, a lot, especially where we're at now. It seems like role players are playing just a bigger factor than we've really ever seen before. Like, just a huge factor. Like, Luka's been banged up since Series 1, since against the Clippers. Kyrie has had a few games where it's like, man, Kyrie, what's up? Like, that's my guy. But, I mean, the Mavs really seem like PJ Washington's had some insane games. Derek Jones Jr. Mm-hmm. They're big guys have played well. Josh Green.
Yeah, Josh Green.
Who there was maybe one other person I was thinking of. Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively playing.
Which are pretty much the same person. Just
really, just one's one's a little bit younger than the other.
Yeah, but I mean, to have both of them, I just remember, and I think we've talked about this before, just Gafford, when he played for the Wizards, I would always watch him play the Hornets and just be like, I wish he was on our team. I wish I had a center like him on our team. And now he's on a winning team. And like sometimes that's all you need is a guy who's going to go down there and play defense, get some boards, and maybe score 8 points.
Especially with a guy like Luka. We talked about this. Yeah, he's like Luka's a James Harden-esque type guy. You got a big man that can set some good screens and roll to the basket and catch an oop, or even just catch it and slam it on somebody's head. I mean, that's a valuable thing to have. And then, I mean, OKC, really young team, super big future ahead of them, for sure. Like, they're only going to be competing. Hopefully SGA stays long term. I mean, I know that was a question leading up to this season. Like, did they go for too much of a tank where they're not going to get good enough players for SGA before his contract's up? But I think the vibe for OKC is great. With their Bally Sports, dude, the dog, where they go up to him and just bark. Future's bright for them. Previewing the Western Conference Finals now, Dallas versus Minnesota. I feel like Minnesota's a heavy favorite for most people. I personally, I think Minnesota depends on Luka's health because, like I said, Luka's been banged up the whole time. We haven't got a Luka like game. We've had some but not the crazy efficient games where he's getting triple doubles and dropping 30 points.
But that's gonna be tough in the playoffs too.
It's gonna be tough.
He's playing them and it's not like he's going to a team that they're going to have to out-offense this team.
Yeah.
He's literally going to a team that's going to be...
Best defense in the league.
Yeah, it's possibly... and you're right, best during the regular season, best defense in the league. So it's not like it's going to get any easier playing on offense. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. And just when you... So, to be clear, Luka, way more athletic than me. Right? I am... But... When you look at Luka versus you look at Anthony Edwards, you see two dudes that if they're both going at each other for a long period of time, I just feel like Anthony Edwards is always full of that energy. Where Luka, like we talked about last episode, he starts looking beat up and he starts making maybe some bad decisions and stuff. And not saying that Anthony Edwards doesn't either. It's just I think he's about to fight. It's going to be one of those things where he's going to have a young guy who's just a stud as physically that's about to be on him the whole time because
that'd be an interesting matchup. If Anthony Edwards guards him, I think they probably have Jaden McDaniels on Luka to start off with, but if Anthony Edwards get on him, that's an interesting matchup.
But so they started off the game. I forget who they had playing Jamal Murray at the beginning of the game, but Anthony Edwards finished the game guarding Jamal Murray, and that's Jamal Murray went I think it was 6 of it was.
He went 2 of 10 from 3. You're talking about Game 7? He went
2
of 10 from 3. He still dropped 35 points.
Yeah, but it got a lot worse for him when Anthony Edwards started guarding him in the second half. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to keep riding this train.
Yeah, ride the train. I'm wrong. My pick's gone.
Minnesota's still there, baby. Yeah. Anthony Edwards going to keep it going. Cat's good enough offensively that if Anthony's not having that good of a game, hopefully Cat can score some points. And also, what big man is going to go out, PJ Washington, I guess, can follow him around, but then there's a big size advantage there, and
I think Cat's got to be huge this series. He's got a big size advantage for most of the people that they would throw at him.
Yeah, because then Jaden McDaniels will most likely guard whoever Anthony Edwards isn't guarding, right?
I mean, probably if I had to guess, Anthony Edwards is probably going to guard Derek Jones Jr. to start the series.
Yeah,
Jaden McDaniels is probably going to guard Luka. Mike Conley's going to guard
Kyrie.
Mm-hmm. And then Cat's going to guard
PJ
Washington. Yeah, and PJ Washington, vice versa, yeah. So, interesting matchups across the board. I mean, hopefully it comes down to Luka Anthony Edwards going at it. I feel like that's be awesome TV. Hopefully it goes 6 or 7. But, I mean, Minnesota's obviously going to be riding some type of high. Mm-hmm. Beating the defending champs, moving on, 22-year-old superstar. I mean, they're riding high.
How do you feel about Kevin Garnett not picking a side?
I mean, you can't blame him. The dude's got retired, gonna have retired jerseys for both. He did win a chip with Boston, but he also got drafted by
out of high school.
It's tough. If they match him in the finals and Minnesota wins, and I see KG celebrating with them, that's gonna break break my heart.
Oh yeah, he's going to.
I know he is.
He's going to celebrate with whoever wins. Like that's the dirty thing.
And Paul Pierce is going to be pissed.
He's literally going to have 2 hats ready. Like just he's going to have colors that can match either team, and he's going to have 2 hats ready.
But yeah, great conference finals ahead of us. A lot of young stars. I mean, no matter what matchups we get in the finals, young superstars going at it, and that's what I love about basketball. It's awesome.
But I do think that the Minnesota-Dallas series will be a lot more competitive. I think we're only 1 blowout away from the with the Celtics versus the Pacers.
This game 2 is a big one.
Yeah, like that. It could just change everything. Where we've seen Minnesota get blown out and then come back and be ready, and
to be up 2-0, go down 3 straight, and then to come back and win the next 2. That's big. That's for especially a team that young with the star that young. That's really impressive. I mean,
impressive. The team that wins Game 5 wins 81% of the time, but Minnesota did not win Game 5.
Percentage went down just a little bit.
Just a little
bit.
80.75% now.
But transition to some young stars. What we talked about the under 25 list
from TheRinger.com. They brought us the under 25 list. Have you looked at this list at all?
Yeah. We chatted about it a little bit in our little sports group chat.
Yeah, some interesting things going on here. I mean, a lot of the names you expect, but like for me as a Hornets fan, I'm gonna get a little personal now. Is LaMelo. I wish we had Luka. LaMelo. He is number 20, which they talk about his ankles being weak.
Yeah,
they talk about him just he's not very good in an organized basketball sense. He's much better when we're on the run, just doing whatever we want to do, which I think is why we were much better when we had James Borrego, because I feel like he was more open to run an offense like that, where Steve Clifford really wanted to lock down sets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though LaMelo didn't play bad, because I feel like he was averaging over 20 points and stuff like that before he got hurt this year. But the interesting thing for me is that 3 spots ahead of him, first off, in between him and Brandon Miller, who's at 17, we have Jaren Jackson Jr. and Franz Wagner, who, I mean, I'm happy that Brandon Miller is ahead of them.
Yeah.
But I didn't, personally, I always downplay our players because, we were really happy about Kemba. So, even though he might be great for us, it necessarily probably isn't the best when it comes to NBA standards.
Yeah.
But I feel like, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Franz Wagner are 2 good young stars. So to see them putting Brandon Miller up at 17 ahead of them, one, makes me just excited. One, it makes me excited because I was a Scoot guy. I think we talked about that before.
We did.
But I wanted Scoot. Brandon's been very pleasant surprise and continues to blow out my expectations. So continue that. And we really need you to keep doing good because, just a little side note, LaMelo ran over some kid's foot apparently.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Which there is some weird stuff about that. So we'll see how that goes. But the story is one. I don't know if you ever seen the clips of LaMelo leaving.
Yeah, I've seen him. I think I talked about him with you before. It's freaking nuts, man.
Burns out, bro. He runs Charlotte. He does whatever he wants, and but apparently the kid walked up to him while LaMelo's car was on the street. So
people just can't.
Also you can't walk up to anybody's car on the street, and if he decides to go, that's kind of on you, bro. You know what I'm saying? It sucks that if that is true that he got his foot ran over, that sucks. But Mom, you can't let your kid walk up to LaMelo. So this is my thought process, right? So I'm LaMelo Ball, right? I was just at the Spectrum Center Purple and Teal Buzz Day event where I was probably signing a bunch of fucking autographs.
Yeah.
I was probably just doing that. That event's over. If you wanted that type of interaction, maybe try to have it at the event. That I'm pretty sure it was a free event. So it's just don't quote me on that. I don't know if it was a free event.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was a free event, but there was an event, and usually those things aren't that pricey, and you must have been there because you knew LaMelo was going, you were in that area. So I don't know. I hope it's not true. I hope the kid's okay, if that is the case.
True.
But also, I just hope that it wasn't LaMelo, had a kid hanging on his car or whatever and just decided to peel out, but...
True. We'll find out more. Hopefully,
we'll find out. But Brandon Miller, let's go back to that. Brandon Miller being a star is just exciting. So I'm super amped about that. And the other crazy thing is like he's right behind Evan Mobley and Trae Young. Which one? Trae Young.
Trae Young being 25 right now is honestly crazy. I feel like he was a lot older.
He looks old as hell.
Yeah.
Like every time I see Trae Young, he's just got the scraggly hair. He's he just looks beat up. He looks like this time in Atlanta's been a little rough, but he also looked kind of old when he came out of Oklahoma. Who else do we got up here?
Also, I'm pretty sure this site may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Shea is 26 years old right now. But hold on.
Let's see. Yeah, you do that. Because I'll just think about some others that I found like pretty crazy, like Cade Cunningham being down at 13, like or 14, like what
has he done?
What has Cade Cunningham done?
He's been the worst team for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and like not saying that like
he's also been injured for a little bit,
but that's part of this. That's part of this ranking. Like that's why LaMelo's a lot lower, because they say his ankle's hurt. So it's just like, you just nothing really. I just don't see an uprising in Detroit. And like so I just understand how he's down there. Scotty Barnes at 13. I get that, bro. Sengun at 12. What a dude who just like was just a tall guy on the Rockets for a while and then just blew up.
Maybe Jokic.
If Houston could. Oh wow. John Morant at 10.
Tied with you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Oh no way.
Oh, little insider scoops. Scooter does not like Zion Williamson that much.
Zion's in the top 10.
He had a great year, dude. He had a great year.
But he gets hurt all the time.
And dude,
he doesn't like to listen to the health people at the Pelicans, and he can't really shoot at all. And I don't like. Oh, Zion and top. Where Brandon needed help. He needed help. Zion, where were you? Again, where were you? I don't know. Like I think he's just on there because his team's better. But I mean, I think he's. If you look at the impact that they have on the teams, I feel like LaMelo's just as good as Zion. People are probably going.
They made the 8 seed.
Yeah, like
Zion led him to the 8 seed but got injured, unfortunately.
But that's what I'm saying. But like the important part is like if you can't stay, and it's always been this way. I feel like he was hurt at Duke. He was hurt all the time in his NBA career.
First 2 seasons, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Like I don't know, man. It's when the game is so spread out, and like I said. I said about SGA, where I want my best player taking the hardest shots. And I understand that not all forwards are like that, but a lot of forwards are like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
he takes hard shots. They're just 2-point shots instead of 3-point shots.
But Jokic will take whatever shot I want. Like if I have Jokic, or if I have Karl Anthony Towns, or if I have Pascal Siakam, you know what I'm saying? Like these guys are going to take other shots, and all it's going to eventually take is somebody who's just as big as Zion being really good at defense, and then what happens when you can't bully them? But until that day comes, I guess he can keep doing what he's doing.
But we can talk about at least number 9. Me and you kind of agree on this. Mm-hmm. Number 9 on this list is Paolo Banchero. Then followed by him, we got Jalen Williams from OKC. We got Chet Holmgren from OKC at 7. Then Tyrese Maxey at 6. Mm-hmm. Tyrese Halliburton 5. Luka 4. I was wrong about Shea. He is 25. He turns 26 in July. Shea at number 3. Anthony Edwards at 2. And obviously Wemby at 1.
Which you saying, like, I understand Wemby is going to be great. But it is nuts right now to say that he is producing and playing better than three of the guys that are in the. Well, no, 2 of the guys that are in the conference finals, right?
Finals right now, yeah.
Like, and again, Wemby is an alien.
He's an alien.
God, I wish we were one pick away. We were so close. But, like, I just if we're talking about right now, and I know this also has a future part to it.
Yeah, it's a future part
in their thing, which definitely in the future, but it's just kind of hard to stomach that one year you were still one of the 4 worst teams in the league, I don't know. It's just hard for.
They picked it up at the end. Like, they were really bad at the beginning. They got better, and obviously Wemby got better as the season went on. Mm-hmm. I get why he's number one because that was an insane rookie season.
Oh, plus 3.6 blocks. I never.
Yeah.
That's a lot of blocks.
Yeah, like he had an insane first year. He just doesn't have the team around him. That's why he wasn't going to be Defensive Player of the Year. He didn't have the team around him to make it like viable. But I mean, yeah.
But I mean,
right now, Anthony Edwards seems like on this list the best player on this list. But Luka maybe number 2.
I think Paolo.
Paolo deserves to jump.
I think they're doing him a little disrespect. He's the number 1 guy on a team that 2 years was it? Because he's been in the league 2 years, right? 2 years ago had the number 1 pick.
He's got the 5 seed now.
Yeah, they're the 5 seed now, and they're competitive, and it's like again, and this is just me. He's a guy that I'm not saying he's an elite 3-point shooter, but if he wants to take that shot in clutch time, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
so.
And they took a Cleveland Cavaliers team with Donovan Mitchell and at that time mostly healthy Donovan Mitchell with healthy Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Karis LeVert. Like that was a good experienced playoff team. They were in the playoffs last year and they lost to the Knicks round 1. And they took them to 7 games and lost on the away floor, but they made it competitive. And then you got above him, you got Jalen Williams, who I'm a huge fan of. Love Jalen Williams from OKC. He's 23. Paolo Banchero's 21.
Yeah.
Like, that's 2-year difference, and Paolo's the best player on his team. Jalen, borderline 2 or 3 best player on his team.
And then you got Chet Wright.
You got Chet Wright below him, 22.
Which, man, just to think about that, man, like, being an OKC fan right now, like, I just... just watching a small market team like OKC just be so good all the time.
Yeah.
Upsets me more because then it shows that like my management team sucks at Charlotte, which is no secret, but like just to know that they had KD at one point in time. Think about that. At one point in time, they had KD, Russ, and James Harden, and people were like, "Oh, what are the odds that you'll ever have a trio like that again of 3 young stars?"
Did it again.
And literally, they did it again. They have SGA, which we drafted and traded to them. And then they got Chet and they got Jalen Williams literally doing it again. Now, do I think those 3 will peak as high as Russ, KD, and James Harden did? Because all 3 of... KD won an MVP.
Yeah, KD won MVP.
So
they all 3 won MVP.
All 3 won MVPs.
Yeah.
I don't know if all 3 of them will win MVPs.
I think they might. The thing they all 3 peaked better than these 3 will peak, but if these 3 stay together, they're going to peak as a unit.
Yeah.
Obviously better than they did and hopefully win a title.
Yeah, win a title maybe, but the problem but staying together means that you probably don't get 3 MVPs out of it.
Yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying?
But in terms of a unit together, hopefully they end up peaking better than they did. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's if Chet can stay healthy, he adds a different element than what OKC had back then. They didn't have that big man inside that can also stretch the floor.
Well, no, Serge Ibaka.
Serge couldn't really stretch the floor in OKC.
I remember some big threes being
hit. He hit some threes, but he was getting there. He didn't really get there until he was in Orlando, and then he went to Toronto. But I mean, yeah, just doing it again, like you got to feel so good about your ability to draft. But it also sucks that you've had this much talent up until this point and still don't have a title to show for it. It's kind of sad, but still.
But it's better than nothing.
It is better than nothing.
Saying? Like, it's better than nothing. It's like
you could have Michael Jordan as your owner.
Because to be fair, like every year, 29 teams have a lot of talent on their team, and and they don't win the championship. So like, I would just much rather be in that position of knowing that I have 3 young stars on my team.
Yeah.
Than where I'm at now.
Borderline 2.
But we do have 2.
Yeah.
We do have 2 of the top 20.
Yeah, you got 2. But also LaMelo's future uncertain. But.
Well, I mean, it's pretty certain. We locked him down for 5 years.
So he can ask for a trade,
Yeah, I mean, he can ask for a trade, but if he's breaking kids' feet and won't wear an ankle brace, I don't know who's gonna pay a bunch of people. Because we need him to wear an ankle brace.
Yeah.
Right? We need those ankles fresh. Steph did it, and he had a great time. It led to championships for Steph. So, transitive property. You start wearing some ankle braces, LaMelo, championships.
But, I mean, I feel like this list, other than Paolo being a little slept on, I feel like the list is pretty good. I think he should be probably at 6 ahead of Tyrese Maxey. I think everyone else just drops down 1, and Paolo goes all the way up to 6. But other than that, I mean, great list.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just crazy to see some of the names on there. Like like Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, hell, the Grizzlies have 3 players on that list. And like,
Ja would be a lot higher if he didn't deal with those issues that he had.
Ja,
you think he'd be probably higher because they were looking real good.
Yeah, 10 seems kind of low for Ja, but I mean, if they're worried about, what he might do.
Yeah, we'll see next year.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize Tyrese Haliburton right there.
Yeah, Tyrese Haliburton at 5. I mean, yeah.
Dude, Luka down there at 4 though. But I mean, the other 3, it's hard to.
Luka and Shea. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know, interchangeable for me. I really like Luka, but Shea's game, his mid-range game is just. I love mid-range games. Those are so.
And his ability to go and get contact and stuff. Crazy.
But yeah, like I said, bright future ahead of us. Obviously, that list, and then the 4 young guys we got competing for a championship right now. But let's get to what the people really want to know about.
What's that?
The locks of the week. Scooter's locks of the week. Let's hear them, baby.
Hey, this week I came prepared. We have Scooter's locks of the week. I'm coming in with a banger this week. Let me just get it up real quick. I do all my things over. I got to log in real fast. These apps like to log you out so fast.
Be ready to call out of work this next week because you are about to hit the lotto.
You're about to hit the lotto, okay? Well, not the lotto, but enough to call out of work next week.
Enough to call out of work and be okay with missing a few paychecks, you know?
So let's see here.
On the paycheck.
Yeah, so let's see here. So this is for the game on May 23rd. I think I said it was March 22nd earlier this
No,
episode.
I think you said May.
I might have said March.
Okay, May.
If I said March, thanks for making it all the way to the end of the episode and finding out that it's in May. So this is for the game tomorrow, which is Thursday, May the 23rd. This is between the Pacers and the Celtics. I have the Pacers winning it away with Tyrese Haliburton over 3.5 threes. Over Jaylen Brown, 3.5 or over 1.5 threes for Jaylen Brown. We have Pascal Siakam over 25 points. Obi Toppin over 10 points. Pascal Siakam over 0.5 threes. I think he can make a 3. Sure. We have Jaylen Brown under 36.5 total stats between his points, rebounds, and assists. Miles Turner is going to make 3+ threes. We have TJ McConnell having 20+ points, rebounds, and assists. I have Pascal Siakam getting a double-double, and I have Tyrese Haliburton getting a double-double. This information will all be on our X. I was about to say Twitter. I can't
say Twitter.
I always say Twitter, but
it's okay. Say Twitter.
It's on our Twitter/X page. It'll be on there too for you to see, so you can just go and click all those babies and see and mix and match and just see. I was right. Not about all my bets last week, but I was right about some of them. So,
Oscar, you look like a real idiot, man.
Yeah.
You look like a real idiot over there, Oscar.
Oscar thought he didn't listen to me, and I tried to tell him. I said, "Hey, Oscar," I said, "Buddy, you gotta listen to me when I do my locks of the week because I'm locking it down. I'm putting my home and my car on this thing, and I said it's for my livelihood." And so just know that I absolutely 100% guarantee that you can put these bets in and they might hit. I guarantee that. I guarantee you can go and do that.
Well, those are Scooter's locks of the week. I mean, if you have any sense in you whatsoever, you're gonna put that money in.
Yeah,
you're gonna lock that stuff down. You're gonna get your
$1,000 at least.
$1,000.
And then when you win, send your boy a little cheddar. All right.
But so yeah, last week was the first week of our podcast. We launched our first 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. I just want to give a big shout out to everybody that tuned in and watched. Not that it's anything crazy, but we had 30 unique listeners on both of our episodes.
All of you are unique. Every last one of you are special.
We greatly appreciate it. And now, like I tweeted out, we are available on all streaming platforms in which you get your podcasts. We have a Twitter/X account @OnDefensePod. We also have a YouTube account that's also @OnDefensePod. So give us a search on that. Give us a follow. Twitter, give us a search. Give us a follow. If you like these episodes, you like what we're putting out, give us a follow on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast.
5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars, baby.
Give us a download, too. Downloads help us branch out there. People are looking for a sports podcast to watch. We got a lot of downloads coming. We might get a suggestion, and we may get a new follower.
And tell your friends.
Tell your friends, tell your family, and even tell your enemies. Why not your enemies?
Play this in public. Yeah. And then when people say, dude, what's this awesome podcast you listen to? You can tell them what podcast you listen to, but then also tell them about our podcast as well. Well, we're right beside Joe Rogan. We're on the app that Joe Rogan's on. So we're right there.
We're close. We're in the echelon. We're getting there. But yeah, it's been On Defense, episode 3. New episodes drop every Thursday. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. We appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Bye.